Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Elder Scrolling Online. This is episode 2, the big 2. We couldn't record last weekend because, well, it was an American holiday. And I was spending it with family like everyone else that has sanity was doing as well. I am Joe the Widget Wilson. I am your host, and I am joined by my fellow co-hosts, starting with Steve, a.k.a. Ravelox.
Hey everybody, I'll be your guide for the new player, along with this and enchantments and other crafting as well.
And we
Keep an eye
have,
on what's going on.
oh yeah, got to. We have Fred Baranon, the deep-voiced guy.
Hey, what you say, Joe? How are you tonight?
I am doing pretty good. Ready to get this
Let
going.
me hear it.
Yeah. And we have tonight, as always, Vince, a.k.a. Kareneth.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? We got lots of news to cover tonight. Lots of good stuff coming out.
Yeah, tonight's show is a little special and a little bit big. We had to cut out about half of our segments today to fit everything in properly. We're going to be talking about 1.3 coming up. We're going to be talking about the recent patch notes that came out, little hot fixes that were in the game, and more importantly, well, the other guys, they're not so important, but we have a special recording from Fred this week. We're going to go into the specials. But we also have some special guests tonight, and I am very glad to welcome them. First off, it is Nick Conkle, the lead gameplay designer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us on the show.
I'm glad to have you. And joining him as our special guest, we have Eric Rowell.
Yay! Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
See, Nick, I have met in person a few times. We've talked a bit. Eric, this is the first time meeting you. So, tell me, what do you do?
I am the ability designer. I have designed and implemented most of the abilities in the game, and currently I am working on making a bunch of improvements to the items as well. I'm a busy guy.
So you're the one I talked to about adding a get over here sound effect to the Dragon Knight's Fiery Chain?
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
And yes, also is the answer to your question. He's the guy who would make that happen.
Beautiful. Nick is responsible for, well, pretty much anything gameplay related, if I'm not mistaken.
That is accurate.
Yeah, so he's one of the big guys over there at ZeniMax. I like pestering him. He's one of my favorite ones to pester because I'm a PvE nut, and when it comes to gameplay, it's my favorite. Obviously, the best thing in my opinion, in MMO. The story's okay. It's just Elder Scrolls. So we got, first of all, I'm going to ask any of my hosts if they have anything else you guys want to ask them really quick before we go into the actual questions for tonight's show.
No, I think I'm happy with everything that's going on. I'm waiting to hear the answers to these questions.
They're like, skip all the niceties. Let's go right into the fun.
Yeah.
Yay, more fun. And birthday
More
cakes.
fun.
More fun and birthday cakes. Well, some of these questions may not directly pertain to you guys. If you can give us your best answer, I'd appreciate it. If not, just say no comment, and I'll say you suck, and we'll move on.
That's just like the rest of my day up to this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Done this a bit, huh?
Hmm.
All right, first question is I'm responsible for, so blame me for this one. The big news right now is the 1.3 update coming up. Okay? You guys threw a whole bunch of bombs at us, said, oh, here's a whole bunch of new goodies. We would like to know if there's anything that you two would like to tell us and tell our listeners about 1.3 coming soon. Any extra little tidbits?
I like how we just dive right into the what's missing goodness. Well, I will say that it's maybe the start of what we're really hoping for, a kind of a continuous progression of systemic updates to the end game system, the post 50 veteran system. You know, we're doing some initial stuff to try to make it easier to address a bunch of the feedback, and then each patch we're going to try to improve that more and more so that we can really turn it into what it was, something that everyone's really happy and excited about.
Yeah, and also you'll sort of see in 1.3 the first updates to the itemization system I've done, where I've reworked a lot of the item sets.
And my mic was muted like a noob. Guys, my host, you can unmute yourselves. That way you can join the conversation at some point, make comments and stuff. I'm looking at you, Vince. I'm looking at you, Steve.
Those sets, though, they look very promising. I gotta admit, Eric, I was pleased when I was reading a lot of the update information that was out there. I know a lot of my guild brothers and sisters who are crafters are just going wild over what's coming.
I am really happy to hear you say that, man, because I worked a lot of overtime to get all that in.
Good for
Okay.
you.
You did good.
It was well worth it. Hey, guys, I did a podcast based on Elder Scrolls for a very long time before things happened, and I started my own new show. And we always brought up, hey, they need to have dyes in the game. What about dyes? We always talked about that all the time. We even talked to, I remember talking to Nick and Paul and other people, hey, what about dyes? And dyes are coming.
Yeah, I think in terms of features, especially in a sort of that help people stand out from each other, makes it all the more social conversation pieces. This is one of the ones I'm most excited about. I think the way you can probably tell is when we did our first playtest of this internally. Basically, we just kicked off a contest. We're like, who can come up with the most interesting, combination of gear and dyes. And we just unlocked everything, gave everyone all the gear and stuff so they could just really get creative as can be. And man, some of the things that people came up with were just so fun. And that's just us internally, coming up with playtests. So I think when we unleash that on the players, we're going to see some pretty creative costumes made out there, and lots of ways for people to stand out individually.
And I also appreciate that once you unlock with the achievements, that there's no cost to apply it.
Oh yeah, and yeah, just do it anytime you're at the vendor. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool to actually have some kind of a contest for the players to be involved with.
I will pass that suggestion on to Gino, who's probably in the chat. But
Yeah.
Give the
is.
players some
Hi,
love.
Gino.
All right.
Yeah, so we're just really excited about the dyes, and it's whenever we're doing a playtest of any kind, even if it's not specifically to do the dyes, this new step has been added, right? We give everyone all the gear, we give everyone all their abilities and points, and they got to create their character for it. And then now there's this extra step of like, okay, hold on a second, let me dye all my armor so that I match.
I gotta look pretty.
Like, come on, we're trying to go do a raid here, and they're like, no, let me put the green on first.
I need the Argonian green.
How
Has
to
to be
look
the
good for
secondary.
dying.
I as soon as the PTS came live, I was jumped on it right away, right to the dye station. Where is it? Where is it? And started playing around with every combination I could, and I looked really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there are a lot of colors.
People were like making different superheroes and all kinds of crazy outfits. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I saw the one that looked like Wonder Woman, and I was like, okay, yeah, that was good. I could live with that.
All right. 1.3 has a lot of other features we're gonna talk about later on in the show. Between the hosts, a lot of good things coming up. There is something, Nick, that you and I don't know, you probably don't remember this. We've talked about this together in the past. I just wanted to try to pry this out of you a little bit. Just a little bit. Is the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild. Any info relating to those two? Because we know a lot of people who are like diehard fans of Dark Brotherhood or the Thieves Guild.
This guy.
This guy right here. And people would like to know if, when, and how they're going to be implemented in the game.
Well, I can tell you that the groundwork for that, for both the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood, would of course be a justice system. An activity where players can, do things of questionable morality, like stealing and murdering civilians, the sort of things that the Dark Brotherhood engage in. I don't really know that that's of questionable morality. It's probably the wrong way to refer to that. Let's just say of alternate activities, and there'll be some really good information about that released at QuakeCon quite soon. So tune in on Thursday, and I think you'll get some good details about that.
Oh yeah, next Sunday's show's gonna be big for us too. We're gonna be talking about everything that was announced at QuakeCon. I wish I could be there, but unfortunately I cannot this time. I'm gonna try to be there next year though.
That's too darn bad. QuakeCon is a lot of fun actually. It's one of my absolute favorite shows because it's very gamer focused, right? Everyone there is just likes playing games.
And it's in Texas, and that's kind of far away from me, like 2,000 miles far away.
Me too.
Yeah, I really can't hitchhike out there. Yeah, you too. So I forget.
Hey, it's only 1,500 miles.
Bethesda and ZeniMax are one of the few game companies that are actually in the East Coast and not the West.
True enough. Yep.
And when I went and visited you guys back when, I was kind of didn't realize you guys were out there in Bethesda, Maryland. Kind of like, what? I was expecting to fly across the country. All right, so we will look forward to getting more information on that. I know that's going to be a huge deal when they finally come out. Everyone's going to be like chomping at the bit, me included. Vince, you have a question.
Yeah, my question is about skills. Since you have only 5 skills on the hotbar, and you have up to 2 weapon sets, obviously, do you have any plans in the future to extend the morphing system, like to have additional morphs above and beyond what you already have for the future?
Yeah, I actually get that feedback a lot, that people just enjoyed the morphing system so much and getting
Brilliant.
to choose and customize their abilities that they would like to add, sort of a third morph. And I think that would be that's a great idea, and that's going to be a lot of fun for the players. That is a lot of work, because then every ability basically has 4 abilities, and I'm the guy who's going to be making them.
You don't have anything else to do you, Eric?
Oh no, not busy at all.
Hey, Eric, just give me
I'm
a
here
call.
for the people, all right?
Eric, just give me a call and say, hey, Joe, you got any ideas? I'll shoot you some
Got
ideas, man.
Any ideas, Joe? Maybe.
Oh, I have a ton. Trust me. I'm an ex-game designer.
Oh, cool. But something in the future is we're looking at is having different items be able to customize your abilities. So in a way that'll be similar to being able to morph, and certainly when they hire a couple more of me on, something like a third morph system would be a great idea, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you got to think about it, Vince. If you're adding another morph system to it, you're adding 4 more skills to each skill.
Yeah,
That's a
Lot of work.
lot to do.
it is a lot of work.
But everyone who plays the game would be like, "Oh my gosh, ooh, more customization!" Ooh. Oh, at least that's what I'd be doing. But I can't account for everybody else. All right, Vince, did that answer your question for you?
It sure did. Thank you.
All right, another one from me. So, recent news has also gone around about an arena. I believe Paul Sage mentioned something along those lines recently.
So
know anything
he
about
was
that?
specifically talking about the Dragonstar arena, I believe.
Oh,
I was
okay.
his interview. There was also one guy who kept trying to ask him about, like, hey, what if you also did a single player arena? And that would be a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people, from the gold content that we had was super hard, and there were a number of people who really enjoyed that level of challenge. So that's something that we could potentially look at doing in the future if there's a big demand for it, and players would have a lot of fun with it.
Agreed.
As far as the arena that Paul was talking about, that's another type of extremely difficult content that we're releasing for groups of 4 specifically.
Oh, beautiful.
Where you're going to get an increasing progression of difficulty, and making it very far will be really challenging. But it's definitely meant to tap that really
kind of
tight,
arena.
coordinated small group.
Okay, that kind of arena, Nick, makes me excited because I love PvE content. I hate
We are
PvP.
having a blast with it.
Beautiful. That's a
great.
PvE arena. That makes me excited now. Well, I need to talk to Brian about some PvP ideas I had.
No, you should. But yeah, I would say that that PvE arena is definitely some of the it's a new type of content. We haven't done that before, so I think that in itself makes it exciting. And then the actual way it works out in playtesting, we're any day which is an arena playtest day, everyone's pretty excited. How far can we go?
Hey, Nick,
Always the question.
get me in there, buddy. I'm going to try it out and test it for you.
Yeah, all right.
Heck yeah.
Soon.
That sounds exciting. Yeah, I'm a hardcore DPSer. I'm min-maxing already my character, my Dragon Knight.
What's your build?
It depends. I have a melee and a DPS, or ranged. I have a melee DPS and a ranged DPS build for both, so I can switch in. I'm using bow for my secondary, my ranged, and I use 2-hand with heavy armor, medium armor mix for the extra melee damage for heavy armor and the extra crit for the medium armor.
Yeah, that's strong. I've been messing with a
And I could go into more
light
detail.
armor Dragon Knight lava whip build basically. That
Okay.
I think is really strong, right?
Ever since I played Dragon Knight in Alpha, Nick, I've been hooked on that class. I don't know something about it.
Yeah, Dragon Knight.
What up?
I
Yeah,
think I remember pretty clearly
the ultimate class in my
first time you played it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll never forget that because I was like a kid who's never had candy in his life, got a little taste of it, and then got to walk into a candy store and said, "Here, have fun for 2 hours."
Yeah, I think you were the first person to yell, "Get over here!" when you,
Yes, I was. Oh yeah. That and as I was flinging it at critters, and Nick, you told me you might add an achievement for me. You never did.
Hold tight.
Cool. I'm holding tight to it.
I have not forgotten.
You're the man. All right, what question am I on here? Okay. Vince, you're up again.
Yeah, my next question is kind of leading off what you were saying there about the different armor types and stuff that you're wearing. For tanking, I know a lot of tanks, because of the soft caps, end up with light armor, and they still end up hitting the soft caps. And I was wondering if you were planning to do anything to make heavy armor perhaps more attractive, from a tanking perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, light armor is great if you want to be spells, and melee armor is great if you want to do, medium armor is great if you want to do melee stuff. And then heavy armor doesn't really have like, oh, I get like more of this resource, so I can use a certain amount of ability a whole lot, which is kind of what you want, like each armor sort of gives you that, except for heavy armor right now.
Exactly.
So a couple things we're considering is giving you resources when you take damage if you're wearing heavy armor.
Okay.
So that way you can synergize well if you're playing with a healer, but also if you're just playing on your own, you'll have a lot more resources to cast abilities when you're soloing.
Well, that sounds great.
Eric, you just made my night.
Yeah.
Fred's good. Fred's gonna sit there, rosy cheeks, smiling the rest of the night.
Oh, yeah. Just did.
Speaking of
'Cause I
Fred,
refuse to wear anything but heavy armor as a Dragon Knight. I'm a tank, and that's the end of it. That's all I've ever done, and I just enjoy it to hell, and that's the end of it. I just deal with whatever happens. I die a lot, but what the...
well, we all do, especially in veteran. Okay, Nick and Eric, I don't know if you guys have heard our first episode, but we like to do these little skits that we throw somewhere in the show. Last week, me and a guildie by the name of Callie, really sweet, awesome lady, her and I performed Volume 1 and 2 of The Last Argonian Maid. Yeah.
That's a good
It was
choice.
hilarious.
We had a blast doing it. Everybody loved it. They cracked up. Well, me and Fred got together and decided to do a skit this time. I'm going to go ahead and play it with you guys so you guys can hear it right now. This is Fred's stand-up comedy skit.
Hi, and welcome. We're at the Rosie Lion Inn here in Daggerfall. Yeah, open mic night. This is Baron on Lorgod taking time out from his wonderful time out there and beating up on everything, and they asked me to come here and do some jokes for you, so I'm going to do some time. A Briton mage was walking up on the 5th floor bar and ordered a glass of Orcish liquor with ice wraith teeth and a drop of Falmer blood. Drinks it, then goes wild and jumps out the window. All the Nords in the bar rush downstairs to see the remains, for surely none could survive the fall, only to see an empty street. They return to the bar to find their Briton mage at his stool. Once more, bewildered and ignorant Nord walks up and asks the mage, "How in oblivion did you do that? Are you a Daedra worshipper?" To which the mage replied, "Oh, my good friend, 'tis but drink, for when you mix Orcish liquor with ice wraith teeth and Falmer blood, you can fly. Here, try it." The dim-witted Nord drinks his drink and jumps out the window and falls 5 floors to the street below. Splat! The burly orc bartender looks at the mage and says, "Shigarith, when you drunk, you're an asshole." Ha. I got 1,000,000 of them, I tell you. 2 mud crabs are eating a dead Argonian. One says, "I hate seafood." The other says, "Oh my gosh, a talking mud crab." Well, I thought it was good. How many Argonians does it take to shingle your roof? It all depends on how thin you slice them.
A Bosmer, a Domler, and an Altmark walk into a bar. The bartender looks up and says, "What is this, some kind of a joke?" A Nord decides to cut down a tree. What does he tell it? "You will die where you stand." "How's your wife?" asks Zalathar. "She's in bed with laryngitis," replies Haliath. "Is that Argonian bastard back in town again?" Well, folks, that's all the time they're giving me. They're kicking me off the stage. I got to go back into town and start getting ready to adventure. So this is Baron Lorgard saying goodnight. You have a great time, and I hope the next guy's just as good as I am. If not, I'll be back. Don't worry.
And there you guys have it. Fred's skit for the week.
Thank God Baron fights better than he tells jokes.
Well,
Thank you,
You guys
sir.
have raised the
Thank you.
bar for shows. I'm not going to come on another show unless they're telling me some jokes first.
Well, I'm hoping to get a contract at all the inns throughout the land.
Welcome.
There.
I had to add something in there. It's like one of my favorite soundboards. Okay, well, we're going to go back to the drilling. Let me see. Where was I at?
I got another.
Oh, yeah,
Question.
Vince, you're back on. You got another two.
Yeah, mine's a pretty quick
Three.
and easy one. I'm curious if you could possibly add a reply feature to the in-game mail. It would be very useful.
Yeah, I want that too. That's a great idea.
I'll tell you what. I'll look into that. That one isn't necessarily an area that I have an
Yeah.
update for you on right now, but I can go find out for you.
Okay, excellent.
Agreed, it is a good idea.
Yeah, there's add-ons being made so
I was
people can
gonna
just
say,
hit
We're
reply.
actually talking about that add-on tonight.
Cool. Well, we'll just talk about the add-on saying until they get it into the game, you can use this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that's one of the best things about that. The way the add-on community is really building is, there's stuff like that. That's why it was worth it, right? That was why it was worth all the work to make it so that was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember talking about when we first heard that you guys are opening the API for add-ons that I was going crazy about it. Yeah, such a good idea, perfect idea. You're going to need to do that. I use 3 add-ons myself just to monitor my DPS and maximize that out.
Indeed. I've seen some pretty creative add-ons and screens that people have built for themselves, and I'm always happy when they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vince, next one, please.
Yep, the next one's a little more complicated. I was wondering if you could give us any tidbits of information on Update 4 and the upper part of Craglorn. I think you said it was Dragon something.
Dragonstar.
Yeah.
Dragonstar is the arena, and indeed we'll be unveiling the final part of Craglorn,
Nice.
the remaining region, as well as a new trial
Woo!
for your enjoyment. So that is definitely I'm really excited for Update 4 because it's got a whole brand new set of content that I think people will be really excited about, and it's some in the area that will be familiar to you, like Craglorn Trials, although obviously new mechanics and new fights, and then and then of course this new mode itself, the Dragonstar Arena.
Chaos.
And there'll be more to it than just the trial, right?
What was that? Sorry.
There'll be other quests as well, in addition to the trial.
Update. Certainly, it's not just those things. The update. I would expect
I understand.
a fair number of other systems as well, but that'll be maybe the next time we're on the show. We'll talk in the fair details about that. But
Oh, yeah, definitely.
4 is definitely going to be a big one. I'm really excited for that one.
Granted.
Also, I hope you guys like challenging PvE content because we heard some feedback that the first 2 trials were kind of easy, so we're cranking it up a notch with the Serpent one. It's going to be pretty tough.
Good deal.
That's great.
Also, there's a couple of itemization updates we have planned for the new region in Craglorn. Right now, in the previous 2 Craglorn regions, everything sort of drops the same type of loot all over the place. And the plan we're going to be implementing for this region is that you're going to have to fight specific bosses to get to specific items. So you're not just going to want to like farm the focus points the whole time. Like you're going to want to go into all the different delves and like find the different bosses and fight them to get all the gear in the area.
Wow.
One of the
Sounds like
listeners in the
fun.
chat room right now asked a quick question. I thought it would be cool to ask you guys. I mean, it's not really your area, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Chaos Knight 22
Don't worry,
asked,
we will make something up.
make something up. Chaos Knight 22 asks, "Are we going to get any new mounts?"
Ooh. Tell you what, stay tuned. But
Okay.
that is an oft requested feature, and one that we definitely wanna cater to.
Yeah, we don't
Beautiful.
have anything for update 4, but we got some cool things on the works with mounts coming in the future.
Oh yeah, I still look at the map all the time of all this blank area all over the screen. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see it all. Someday.
There's
Yeah, as far as
plenty
that
of-
goes, filling in the map goes. If you some more info on that coming at the QuakeCon panel on Thursday as well.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, 'cause
awesome,
we only have like a
awesome.
third of your map available right now, so you guys got a lot of room to expand.
There's plenty of room, and I think some parts of that map that people have been really curious about are going to be revealed.
Yeah, look at that
Yep.
head shaking.
I got a little dizzy with
Is that
that
one of
one.
those bobbin head things or what?
Yeah. That's the Joe head bobber.
Yeah, there it goes.
All right, Vince, you have another one, buddy.
Yeah, my next question is about the what I've heard about is the champion system that will be coming at some point in the future. I don't know when, but how will the existing veteran ranks fit into that? Is that going to replace the veteran rank system, or will there still be veteran ranks? Anything?
Yeah, sure. So, as you might have read in Matt's Road Ahead from a few days ago, it's coming in phases, and some of the early phases are focused much more on reducing some of or I guess making the experience of the post 50 content more like the experience of the pre 50 content. Yes, more difficult, but not so much so that a good percentage of the people feel like it's extremely grindy or very difficult to advance through the ranks themselves. And then making it work more with the same way of gaining rate. Experience is experience, and we don't have an alternate type of points as far as that goes. So that's some of the early stuff, right? Making the content more difficult, yes, but more like what you played up to that point. So it's more of a continuation as opposed to how some people feel about it right now, which is really it's almost a different type of gameplay. And then when that phase 3 comes out, there will absolutely be a conversion of veteran ranks as they exist now into the champion system. And there's some talk right now about how we're going to handle people who are partway through veteran ranks and stuff like that. But anytime you release a new system, you have to try to. We're going to have to try to pick some ballparks. But yes, the people who are further along in their veteran ranks will get a head start in the champion system.
Okay.
And we'll have more details on that when we're actually closer to phase 3. But it's something we're very cognizant of. You won't lose your progress.
Okay.
That you worked hard for.
And one of the nice
Wonderful.
things about the champion system is you're going to be getting rewarded. You can keep spending those points and increasing your character, at a pretty quick cadence. Whereas right now it takes like 20 hours or something to get a new veteran rank. You're like, it took so long. I just want to, get somewhere. I want to
Yeah, I think
get stronger and more powerful.
That's
Yeah.
probably the most exciting thing. The thing I'm most excited about as far as the champion system goes is that cadence of rewards, instead of really stretching out, like you're just going to be consistent points to spend as you play, and it's just for the same activities you've been doing. You can get them from PvP, you can get it from questing, you can go do exploration or trials or the newly formed Dragonstar Arena, whatever it takes. It'll all be getting you points. It'll all be giving you ways of progressing your character, and it won't be quite so long in between those moments of real level up excitement.
Excellent.
Actually, the thing that's the most exciting to me about the champion system is the fact that I've heard that the points you earn in that you'll be able to give to your alts as well.
Yeah, points you earn are account wide, and you can spend them per character. So obviously, you don't have to work. Have to have the same build across all the different options. But you can spend them, and then furthermore, it's very easy to respec them within your original character. It's meant to be an experimental system, and you can keep earning them. So it gives you lots of options as far as that goes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and another nice thing about that is potentially you don't want to make an alt because you're just playing the exact same content again that you've done, but this is, you can sort of experience it in a new way because now you're playing it with like, oh, I just have a low level character, but I have all these champion points, and let me put them into like all into health or all into damage, and just like see how powerful I can be and see what high level monsters I can kill.
Very cool.
I'm cool with
Hey,
that.
I hate to keep being the person saying this, but even more details on this on Thursday at the.
QuakeCon, QuakeCon,
I
QuakeCon.
keep pitching my own thing, but here it is, right? Like that's when the I think we have some really exciting details and all that to release that I think everyone who's watching right now will be really happy to see.
Well,
And you did say, I believe it said someplace that even though we're not going to be there, there's going to be a live feed.
Yeah,
so that
absolutely.
everybody can.
The live stream panel on Twitch.
So.
all right. Steve, you're up, man.
Okay, so many thanks for increasing the potency rune stacks to 100 from 20. That's like a lifesaver. Got a question. There are 2 mysterious runes currently being delivered by hirelings. And of course, the pronunciation, don't really know exactly. I think it's Lyre and Jaidi. What are they?
Or are they supposed to be mysterious?
Obviously, right now they're taking on the attributes of some of the other essence runes, and we were just wondering if this is a something with reference to some scrolls that say there's a 4th character of the enchantment system, and is this something that's going to come down the pike, or are they there for a specific purpose?
I believe those will be used in the future. All our trade schools are sort of built that we can keep expanding them and keep adding new stuff into it.
Yeah, as far as your specific question about adding a 4th word to the enchanting rune sets, there aren't any plans in the works for that in the short run, but there is a lot of discussion about how we will be expanding all of the different crafting professions in each of the sort of upcoming patches. So yeah, I would expect some updates. Some of them quality of life, what you described, increasing stack sizes, or various things that our community keeps requesting for us, and some of them a little bit more major.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
I can see all the crafters out there just like getting real excited, like doing the widget dance or something there.
Can you show us that dance real quick?
Depends on which one. The really excited one, the also so excited one, or oh my god.
The widget, go ahead, do your thing, widget, that that you didn't want me to see last week.
I feel like I'm about to see something.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. I
That's
almost
the
was
hell
blinded
yeah.
when I saw that last week on YouTube.
So those listening in iTunes, you'd be happy you didn't see that. All right.
Yeah.
Vince, you have another question, bud?
Yeah, my next question is about the guild bank. Back in the beta, it was as large as 1,000 slots, for brief periods of time, and I know you have limited it for technical reasons, and I was wondering if there's any plans in the future to expand that beyond 500 slots.
Yes.
There's the answer.
There's your answer.
Great answer.
There are said plans. We're talking about how exactly we might want to do that.
Okay.
Fred.
All right. Guys, this is just a general question. It has not. What is your favorite moment since playing this game as players?
God, that's a great question.
Awesome.
Eric, dive in on that one first. Hang on a second.
Mine has definitely been we are doing some work on the group finder, but like I've been using it in the game, and I did a couple of veteran dungeons with just a group of random people, and it was really hard, and like we really had to work, and we like refined our strategy over a period of time. And you're like, well, what if you go do this, and I'll use this ability, and we all drop our ultimates at this time, and we were able to get through one of the veteran dungeons with just a group of normal people, and that was really exciting and fun.
That's cool.
For me, okay, so this is kind of a cop-out answer because it's both my enjoyment as a developer and as a player, but whatever,
Okay.
I'm going with it because it's what immediately came to mind, which is, as I was going through the levels, especially in kind of the early months after the game had come out, watching the spread and the economy of vampirism and lycanthropy, and watching the chat, just devolve immediately into Team Edward, Team Jacob, like people insulting each other and like all of the, I'll charge you gold, I'll charge you money, no, I'll just fight you for free because I believe in vampires, and then the Dawn Guard running around and trying to clear out and stop the spread of vampirism. There was just some really great stuff there. I was reading the chat and watching that all play out and just cracking up. So. That was definitely a system when we were putting in of like, hey, what if we made a system that spread entirely socially, and we just started talking about how it might happen, and some of those things we were definitely expecting, and some of those things, I think in particular the Dawn Guard, we were like, that is genius, and we were pretty happy to see it. So I had some good laughs reading those chats.
Thanks, guys. That's good.
We had a question submitted by a listener via email. And he basically asks, with this trend of making things easier, he's basically saying, please tell me that this is not going to be something that's going to happen a lot, especially when it comes like the veteran content becoming easier recently. I've heard that from a lot of people, actually. They're very concerned that you guys are going to start nerfing everything and making it too easy.
So you're talking about specifically the changes where it made the gold and silver easier, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
Right.
we did that sort of to like make sure everyone was able to sort of play and experience and level up, because at that point so many people, they couldn't even get to like the part of the game where it's supposed to be the super hard content, the trials and things in the future like veteran dungeons and the Dragonstar Arena like that. So we want everyone to sort of be able to solo at any time just to sort of level up their character and increase their power if they're having trouble in some other area, whereas if you're trying to level up and it's so hard you can't even do anything to make your character even more power, you just get kind of stuck there. So that's not like a goal of ours, is to like make everything so easy. Like we want to have really challenging, super difficult content, but we also want to have content available to sort of everyone that more casual players can experience.
There's a lot of people that have the same view as I did when it came to it. I have a V12, and I loved the challenge of going to the veteran content. It was very difficult, but it made me learn my character, really learn it. And that's what I actually really enjoyed, that difficult content. If I had trouble with certain areas, I had, guildies come and help me. Now, mind you, there are some areas where they're instanced out, and if they already completed the content, they really can't, and you have to solo it. But for the most part, if I had issues, I had a guildie come, and it was done. So, yeah,
I would say that the changes that we made, in particular, it wasn't about an overall plan of reducing the difficulty of content. It was more about making that a reasonable continuation of the 1 to 50 content. The problem that we felt it really had was it was almost like a different game. And we don't just want to make it easy so everyone can play it. We wanted to make it so it felt like the 1 to 50 experience, as in you could play it solo as a reasonable person, and then put the areas of extreme challenge where we really intended for them to be, and make it so players could get there. And we intend to keep adding them. I think Dragonstar Arena is a really good example, as well as the difficult mode on raids or trials, and then the veteran dungeons that are coming out being, I would say, a step above in terms of difficulty of what's already out there. So, we definitely have areas we really want to focus on creating increased difficulty and challenge for players, but we wanted to make sure that the people who really enjoyed the 150 experience could continue to have that for a longer period of time.
That's a very good answer, Nick.
Thank you.
I'll accept it. I won't rage.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, and I agree that the continuation aspect makes more sense to me than just saying, well, it is easier or something along those lines, because it is a continuation. I felt that, because I just recently made Vet 1, and I made it after you made the changes, and I felt that when I went through. It was just like I was 48th or 49th in Cold Harbor, and dealing with the mobs or whatever at that point, and coming over into the AD area and doing what I have to do there. It was just as difficult, not harder per se.
Yeah, that's good. And and I think the other part of it was, of course, that another thing that we're intending to fix in the extreme short run was just the veteran points, the method at which you earn them. It just isn't on there just isn't one-to-one parity with how you earn experience points. And there was reasons why we implemented it that way in the first place, but as we just watched how people were interacting with the veteran content, it was just like, well, they're playing it like they played the 1 to 50 content, and so we really wanted to support that. And so that means converting the veteran points over to just be experience in terms of how they're earned, and then making the difficulty harder, because that was what was occurring as you were playing through the game. It was getting harder and harder, but not effectively impossible to solo, except for a number of people who are extremely good. Not to take any, impossible is a strong word, because there are some really good players out there for sure.
Oh yeah, sure.
And another nice thing about having a sort of a lower difficulty mode that players can experience is that gives you a good avenue for leveling up your skills. Because it used to be that the silver and gold was so hard, you're like, well, I have to have like the most efficient possible, excellent build to be able to conquer these challenges. And now you're like, well, let me try out this ability, that I hadn't used before, and let me try to rank it up and morph it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a couple quick more questions for you guys before we move on, because we're running a little bit late right now. I mean, I could talk to you both all night, but it doesn't make for a good podcast. Zuri 1001 in chat asked if you guys plan on increasing the VR level as new content is released.
Yeah, fair enough. We are planning to do these, addressing the amount of time and grinding it takes to increase veteran levels. And as we've said before, we have this long-term plan where, in phase 3, we're effectively going to transition away from that system and into a new one, which we think will be much more what people are really looking for in a post, level 50 experience, right? Something that's a little more long-term, and a little bit more, higher cadence of rewards. But in the meanwhile, in the period of transition between those two, there's a number of systems that are sort of dependent on increasing. So it's something we'll probably do, but not very much more, and we'll be doing a lot of work to mitigate it in terms of the issues we are seeing with how grindy it is, or how long it takes to level these things up. So any increases would at least come with improvements to make it much easier to actually get there, be it in PvP, leveling in PvP, or leveling in adventure zones like Craglorn, or be it in trials or Veteran Dungeons, etc. We want to make sure that is not a grindy experience, even as we increase it.
Beautiful. You're a pro. All right, we're gonna do one more. Fred, this last one that you put in here from someone in chat.
Yeah. Oxmate asked a question in the chat room. Just wants to know if there's any new weapons coming, such as spears and such.
There are no plans for new weapons in the short run. We have certainly discussed the concept of spears and a few other weapons that I think people would be excited about. But I think between now and then, there's a few new skills that would be something that the community and people would be a little more excited about, a little more demanding. We sort of hinted at things like the justice system earlier, and how that would play out, as well as new mounts, things like that. And those, I think, will have impacts on the skill system as well that people will be really excited about. See how those things all tie together.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see the justice system. I can imagine how many people are going to be put in jail or something just for going through bookshelves and all this stuff in people's houses. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, teach those thieving fools. I'm the murdering fool, so I'm.
And you will both have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll be in jail too. Don't feel bad.
I did my time.
Yeah.
I want to thank Eric and Nick so much for being on the show with us tonight. You guys were fantastic. I will be bugging you both again to come on the show again.
Eric the Red.
So fear not.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's it.
Fred,
I'll tell you what, we'll come on. I'll be happy to come on again, but on the condition that you guys collectively come up with a really good nickname for Eric.
All right.
I feel like I have one already. So.
Deal. Done.
I was thinking of Warbler, but I didn't think that would go over too well.
I mean, if I had like a really annoying thing I kept saying like over and over again, then that might work.
Catchphrase.
My mind's just going crazy on it right now.
Are you guys having that
Thank
big
you
of
for
a
taking
problem
time.
in that office coming up with a good nickname for him? Is that what it is?
What I have always found, this is my little parable for live game versus internal development, is that what the community comes up with your guys' mass communal knowledge is almost always funnier. So
All right.
I'll leave it to you guys.
We'll have to put it to our fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have them email us in suggestions, and we'll have the chat room do it. We'll see how many we can get out there at once.
And, you know, it's a lot of fun being on here. So of course we'd be happy to do it again.
And Nick, you're not
Absolutely.
safe from that either.
Warble's new nickname. Oh, that's going to be interesting. All right.
All right, you guys are welcome to hang around if you want, or if you can take off. It's up to you. We're gonna go ahead and just finish up the rest of the show really quick here.
I'll chill for a bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go right into our news. We did talk a little bit about 1.3, but before we get into that, ESO, like we talked about earlier, and like Nick was explaining over and over again, QuakeCon, the 17th through the 20th. Check it out. It's at the Hilton in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. On the 18th is their panel. That's what I'm really looking forward to myself. On Friday the 18th, correct? Yeah, correct. Okay, good job, Joe. We had patches recently, but for the life of me, I completely forgot what they were. Vince, help.
Well, there was one patch. It was just a smaller one for frames per second, actually, FPS improvements.
That's right.
That was received very, very well by our guild. Even those who weren't in AVA in Cyrodiil said that they noticed an improvement due to that patch. So we do thank you guys for putting that into place.
Yeah, no lag.
It worked.
Yep. That was definitely an instance of, we saw the feedback about that, and we made sure that we fixed that and patched that in as quick as we possibly could, even though it wasn't on the normal patch cycle, because obviously that's not a good play experience playing at low frame rate.
No.
No.
All right, so 1.3 is coming out. That's been announced. We talked a little bit about that earlier. But some of the big things you guys are going to look forward to, my host, do you guys have that link I have open?
Sure do.
Yeah, sure, got it.
All right, so you guys can throw in whatever you find interesting. The big thing that for me when I did my little giddy dance was the armor dice. Excuse me.
Yes.
Armor dice will be added to the game, ladies and gentlemen, and there are 3 different areas of your armor you can dye. So you have 3 different colors you can add to each piece, and there are a ton of dice. Me and Vince and Fred one night went all into the PTS and started messing around with it, showing off our pretty little selves, dancing around with our color schemes. It's really cool because you go to a dye station, and these dye stations are located anywhere or right around the potion areas. I know that we went to the Daggerfall one, and that was right in the whole woodcutting barn area. You just make a right turn in there, and it's right there. And it lists all the different dyes. You can sort the different dyes by hue, by rarity, by all kinds of goodies. But the ones that you can't use are the ones that are X'd out. But you can right-click on them, and you can view what achievement unlocks them. So how this is going to work is certain achievements will be giving you certain dyes. Once you unlock them, they're free to use. However and whenever you want on your armor. So you can go to the armor station and look and write down on a notepad which achievements you need to go through and do this week, and go get that armor that you want. Most of them are basically, what we saw was a lot of them were based off of PvE content type achievements. Some of the really cool ones though were PvP related, like Black.
Yeah.
I don't PvP. What's up?
Black's
we
always
have several
a
shades
popular
of
one.
black, and you should be able to get those doing different varieties of activities. So
The
there's black
coolest
for
one
everyone.
was like this high-ranked achievement you have to get in PvP of some kind of like next to war general type thing.
Well, that's all right. The cool thing, though, is about that too is that you can change it as often as you want. It's not
Yeah, and
like
there's
once
no
you set your armor, once you set the armored color, it's not like it's stuck that way. It doesn't cost you anything. So you can you can change it to your mood. So tomorrow, if you're feeling happy, you can change everything to be blue. If you want to, pink or
I'm
something.
so
It doesn't
happy. So
be
very
all
happy.
blue. Yeah, if you're so very, very happy, you can make it all yellow. Who knows? Whatever you want. It can be changed. So that's the beautiful thing about it that I was impressed with.
Yeah. There was a lot. It was a lot more detailed than I was expecting, honestly,
Yes.
in a dice
Very
system.
impressed with it.
Um, Not just because I'm an ESO fanboy, but I've played a lot of MMOs in my time, and I've seen the few that actually have a dice system. This one blows the rest of them away in terms
Yeah.
of what you can do. Even how you get the dice, I find very entertaining. That's going to really force the players to have to go out there and earn these achievements they normally would not do, like this guy here in PvP.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely like
yeah.
that system.
I agree. I mean, it gives achievements to have a reason besides just doing them, and that makes it really neat. It's good
Yeah.
to see the achievements have a value besides just a achievement.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when a die is unlocked, will it be available for all characters on your account or just the one you unlocked it with?
All characters. It's achievements are account based.
Beautiful.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I think it might be worth pointing out because I don't know that everyone has gotten the opportunity to mess with this system like you did on PTS. But I think a fair number of people are worried. Like, oh, hey, there is one blue, and blue is if you complete a trial, and you're screwed if you're not a person who does trials. There are a lot of colors available. There are many, many different types of blue that run a very large gamut. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it's well over 100 different types. So
Yeah.
it's pretty safe to say that if you're willing to go out and achieve different activities, you'll have a lot of options as far as dies go.
Yeah, I'm very
Let's
curious
put
to
it
see
this
how
way:
many
they have a
unlock.
sort ability by the Hue, Hue. That tells you something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have to sort it by hue, there's a few options, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's other little things about the dice system that's really cool, like paint bucket, eyedropper, color sets. I'm not going to get into detail about those. You'll see those pretty soon as it comes out. There's a lot of new and improved guild features. Vince, you want to tell us about these?
Oh yeah, we have the guild ranks. Excuse me, customizable guild ranks, which are very nice. There's you'll be able to deposit gold into the guild bank, which is another nice option. And then there's of course the guild traders. This is something that's completely new. You'll be
Yeah.
able to hire merchants from the Gold Coast Trading Company in locations across Tamriel, serve as public outlets for your guild stores. So basically, you're going to bid on it. It'll be a blind bid that lasts 1 week to win the trader services for a full week. You can only bid on one trader at a time. Basically, of course, the highest bidder is the winner. But if a trader is not bid upon, someone will be able to just hire them outright, which is really going to be nice for a flat fee.
But it's only for the time remaining. So if
Correct.
you find a trader that's it's in the middle of, like, say, Wednesday, and you go and you hire him, you only have the remaining 4 days.
Mhm.
It's not going to be for a week from that Wednesday.
And the guild heraldry, of course, we don't want to forget that. The guild tabards.
Yes.
Oh, that's the big thing. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most
that's
wonderful
definitely a big
thing there,
deal.
in my opinion.
Looks like there's going to be a lot of different colors, backgrounds, and crests available for that. 250 colors, 63 backgrounds, and 136 crests. So definitely there'll be a lot of variability there, to make sure your guild is unique.
That's just a couple of options.
Do you guys know how the bidding system works for the guild traders?
Not necessarily, no.
No.
So it's a blind bid that's sort of like, multiple different guilds can put in at the same time. However, if there's a guild station that no one ends up putting a bid on during the previous week, then anyone could just go up and buy it for
Okay.
a cheap price.
That's what we just. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So certain guild traders will end up being more popular because of their location. And
Exactly.
Yeah,
get
I'm
up
assuming like
yeah.
the Daggerfall ones. They have like 4 or 5 of them in Daggerfall, or maybe 6 of them. I lost count. But those will probably be the high value ones. And I'm assuming when you if you're the guild leader, you go up to one and you say, okay, I want to bid 10,000 on this guy, and that's just what you do, right? And whoever bid them out, like someone is crazy enough to bid 100,000 in Daggerfall for one, they're gonna win it because no one else is that stupid.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they'll get it for the week.
Fair enough.
But it's funny. So the two features you brought up, they work in tandem, and I don't know if it's necessarily clear from the patch notes, but the addition of the guild, being able to add money to the guild bank.
Mhm.
So when you actually do buy one of the traders, in addition to the value of just having more foot traffic, now anyone can come to your store. They don't have to be from your guild, and so the people in your guild will obviously like that because you'll get more sales.
Yeah.
A portion of every sale, the tax, instead of going to the Bankers Association of Tamriel instead goes to the guild bank, and that's one of the really satisfying I think things that you'll see is like when you actually see a lot of trading happening. Just like a few more gold, a little more gold got added, a little more gold added, and that adds an inherent value to the bid that you make, right? Maybe if you bid 10,000 gold on a trader, but you get that much back in taxes, well, all of a sudden it's like, well, shoot, maybe I want to bid 11,000 next week, or maybe I think I can get away with more. So it's not just I bid and I get these and I get nothing in return, right? The guild can potentially use it as a money making opportunity.
And I assume you can bid on these guild stores directly from the guild bank. In other words, you pay for it via the guild bank, or is it via your
correct? Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Oh, well, one of the things I want to mention really quick as well is that the guild traders will be, a hired trader will display the guild store of the hiring guild to all channels, including veteran versions of the zone. So that way, if you do like a one in Daggerfall, all three factions will be able to view it. Correct?
Sorry, I got confused on the question you're asking. You're asking whether they show the tabard?
No,
they do. They show the guild tabard.
No, if you hire a trader for instance, if you're from Daggerfall and you hire a trader in Daggerfall City, okay? If it says in the notes that it's going to be included in the veteran versions of the zone as well. It's going to be cross-faction. We'll be able to view it. Okay.
Yep. In the way that the guild can be cross-faction, the individual players in the guild can be cross-faction also. Players from
it's also safe
to buy from it.
So it's also safe to assume that if you had a trader, for instance, in the Kraglorn town, I forget the name of, it's going to be cross-faction regardless because all the factions are there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm actually. This is just I'm really excited about. Yeah, I'm an economics degree, so about how those things play out, and I think this one's really interesting because. There's 122 locations, and as you say, some of them are going to be more desirable than others, and different guilds, I'm sure, will be willing to bid different amounts on those. And at first, no one's going to quite know how much it's worth, right? How much action is it going to get? How much money is it going to generate? But over time, I think people will really figure it out. And then as a player, I think this is really exciting because you're going to be like, Guild X, whatever they may be, always has this stall in Daggerfall, and they sell really good. Woodworking crafted items, and it's a little bit more like shopping, right? Like, oh, cool, now I'll travel to Cold Harbor because that's where you can get the really good enchanting mats and stuff like that. So, and then and that's going to of course change week to week, but there'll also be some points of stability. So, I think that's going to be a really nice evolving system. I really like social systems like that.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it's going to be a great boost to the economy.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that people are very interested in, I know for a fact, is that all of the campaigns that we know right now will be closed. And at 1.3, 5 new campaigns are opening up for all you AVA people out there. Bow of Shadows is a 5-day veteran rank only campaign. Blackwater Blade, 5-day non-veteran only campaign. Then you got Hadris, I want to say, 7-day standard campaign that anyone can join. You have Chillrend, again, same thing as Hadris, 7-day standard campaign, anyone can join. Thornblade, a 30-day standard campaign that anyone can join. So that's pretty interesting, actually. I find that really cool. So if you're one of those people that are non-veteran and you complain about veterans kicking your butt all the time, you can go join the non-veteran campaign for 5 days.
Yep, that came specifically out of that feedback. As people, feeling like they were underleveled and they just couldn't compete with the top end of the veterans. So that's there for you. And then also, I think, I think Wheeler's pretty excited about. Brian Wheeler, for those of you who don't know, is the lead PvP designer. Excited about experimenting with different durations and lengths of campaigns, and I think that'll mix up the metagame of those campaigns differently in interesting ways.
So the guesting rules and the cost to change campaigns, are they still going to be about the same, or are they going to be modified to fit the smaller time frames?
Okay, so I don't actually have the exact specifics on that because Wheeler has them, but I do know that we are making that more forgiving. But I don't have specifics for you.
According to this, it says the switching campaigns now have a 3-day lockout timer for a Homer guest. Is that what you're talking about, Steve?
No, he's not talking about the cost.
It's part of it, right? Because if the campaign's only 5 days long, then obviously it has to be a smaller ratio.
Right. So it's a 3-day lockout timer associated with it. So that's not that bad.
Yeah, so I wish I could give you more details on this one, but I think Wheeler has the full layout. I don't want to announce something that's incorrect. So I'll
Makes
leave
sense.
that one to the
Yeah.
our
I do
community.
plan on getting Brian Wheeler on this show soon.
You should. I think he'd love to be here.
I would love to have him on the show and talk about all the PvP questions. Like, I know chat was going crazy with PvP questions that I refused to ask you guys because it's not really your area. But I promised them that we'll address those in a future episode. All right, so instant weapon swap.
Yeah.
They're making some changes that will basically make it an instant weapon swap now. It'll seem more seamless, fast, making combat feel more responsive. I like that, even though I don't really experience any. To me, it feels instant when I do it, but I have a powerful
Yeah, and I think
PC.
it depended sort of on what your computer specs were, because it
Right.
had to rebuild your model. So if you had a fast computer and it could switch between those really quick, it wouldn't be a problem. But for a lot of users, there was some lag, and I don't know about you, but I like fast responsive combat.
Oh heck yeah!
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I think
about
the other key was that your speed of weapon swapping was affected by, as Eric's saying, your performance. So in certain scenarios, like high, sort of activity scenarios, it could be more.
PvP.
It could be more time-consuming to weapon swap, and it turns out high-activity scenarios are often the time where it's most important. So yeah, now it's much more like it is instantaneous. You hit the thing, and you hit your button, and if you had a staff, now you have a sword in your hand, and that is like a straight-up pop. It just happens right away.
That's
And
awesome. I know
right
you
into
just
ability.
made a handful of my guildmates very happy.
Yeah. I think before,
probably a good percentage of the game players too.
yeah. I mean, it's funny. So I mean, obviously, when we introduce features, we test them a bunch internally, and we progress them through an entire plan. And so I've actually been playing with that particular feature for a while now, and it's hard to not play with it. So I'm really happy that now that I've gotten used to it. So I'm really happy that everyone's going to get a chance to see it soon.
All right, they added a lot of color corrections. Armor colors and tints were adjusted as well, so they're making already a stunningly beautiful game more stunningly beautiful. Graphic overload. That's eye candy. Lots of eye candy. Difficulty mode has been added to Aetherian Archive and Hellroth Citadel, the Trials. A new difficulty for the final fight in both of those, I should correctly say. Yay. I can't be the first boss right now, so what am I even saying yay about? I'm sure the people who have already plowed through that several times will be very excited about that. Let me see here. A lot of fixes and improvements, a ton of them. Art, animation, bug fixes, you name it, audio fixes, gameplay and combat. Wow.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah, no. You guys have been dragging your weight around. Why are they even paying you still? Is there anything else that you guys see? Steve? Or events, I mean?
Yeah, I the new emotes. I mean, there's quite a lot of them. I know that's quite a lot of animation work for each of them, and the fact that there's that many more is impressive.
They added a whole bunch of
Great.
emotes.
Yep.
That's crazy. I love it. I love the number of emotes you got now, and you just added what, another 20?
Yeah,
That's
something like
great.
that.
That's great.
Mhm.
Oh, look at that. Individual dances for the different races. Oh, my goodness. That's tremendous. Oh, I didn't even catch that until now. That is awesome. Oh, God.
There's
I got to see that.
a lot of enchanting fixes coming up, which is awesome. Which I believe Steve brought up, was the potency runes will now stack up to 100. They're adjusting the amount of inspiration needed to progress between rank 26 and 27 in order to create a smoother progression, which I hated those ranks so much. It took me like 3 weeks to get through them. And they've got a bunch of other things coming up for that as well. So there's a ton in here. We just do not have time to go over it all, but we will go over more of it in the future as 1.3 gets closer, or the day of. So stay tuned for that. All right, so that's it for our news tonight. We have an add-on spotlight, and this was brought in to us by, was it you, Fred, or was that Vince?
That was Fred's, actually, the mailer.
Okay. Add-on spotlight, Fred, what do you got?
Okay, the add-on spotlight tonight is Mail R. This guy has put together this add-on, which basically will allow you to reply or forward to your game mails. Awesome mail program. I highly recommend it. It's available, obviously, through esoui.com or any of the other websites out there. If you got Minion, it's through there. Great, easy to use. Get it. You know how easy and how much you want to reply, how much you would like to forward something. It can do it, and it works. So do it. MAILR.
So get it. All right, we have a few emails as well, and the first one came in to us from Sebastian. Steve, you want to pick this one up?
Oh, sorry about that. Which
Email number 1.
Okay. Email number 1. All right. He says, this is Boss Purple here. He's really enjoyed the first episode, and he's happy that he was able to put faces to the voices that he's been hearing in TeamSpeak for a while, and he's in our guild. He wanted to write in and ask if we have any plans to do anything related to voice actors that play some of the characters in game. He recently watched a video on them and was really enjoyable. Doesn't know many of the faces behind the game. Would be great to listen to a segment highlighting some of the amazing voices you hear while adventuring in Tamriel.
All right. He said he's looking forward to more episodes of the show, and Callie, you definitely aren't living that down. I'm assuming he's referring to, it's so huge. Yeah. That's from our skit last week. I think this question is regarding to having us talk about the voices that we hear in game, or I kind of got lost in that question.
Yeah, the voice actors.
The voice actors, and I believe ZeniMax actually did make an article about that at some point.
Yeah, there was a video on it. But actually, you know, that would be really cool if we were able to get a voice actor or two to come on the show.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do. But, you know, gotta keep in mind that a lot of these voice actors they used are very high profile celebrities.
And they probably would want a lot of money.
They'll be like,
Could
yeah,
you
I'll
imagine,
come on your
can you
show.
imagine getting Molag Bal to come on the show? That would be so cool. I mean, I am definitely a big fan of that gentleman.
Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah, I'll come on your show. $100,000 an hour. Yeah, not happening. Maybe we can do a segment with these nice guys, one of these episodes, just go over, like, listing some of the big profile actors and who they play in the game, just so people are more aware of it. Yeah, do something like that. And we have an email from Balkoth. He's the same guy that does the on iTunes every week, just the iTunes version. We have little extra listener-submitted segments that we do. And Balkoth is the one that does the achievement segment every week. We have another one that's going to be on the iTunes version of the show this week as well. So if you're watching it on YouTube, you don't get to see the extras. Have to go to iTunes. Or listen to him, I should say. And he wrote us an email as well. Fred, it's
Yes,
on you,
sir.
buddy.
All right. Balkoff basically wants to ask a couple questions. What, if any, are there ideas for fixing ABA in the game? Aside from the upcoming changes to campaign structure, is there anything more they're working on, or you guys are working on, to fix what has become basically with a system that's got problems? The ABA system is extremely important to ESO's success, and like many others, he is hoping to see it revived again. Many of the people he has talked to about this, though, agree that just the readjusting of the campaigns that we've been told about won't be enough. Getting a higher population on them consistently is only one part of the problem, as there have been more talk about the deeper issues that are hurting the ABA system. I guess his examples he puts here is hacks still being common, controversies over dueling, and the other AP manipulation issues that have become apparent, and a better system of buffs, debuffs to balance the field more and keep the war interesting.
Well, the thing is, Balkoth, is that they are making progress towards that. Look at the new 1.3 changes are coming out. That's going to fix a lot of those issues. I'm also going to hold on to your question as well for when we get Brian on the show.
Right.
And ask him this kind of thing. That way we can get more direct answers for you. regarding what the future plans are for AVA and ESO. Because I'm pretty sure that no one here can really answer these questions to an accuracy that would really be acceptable, I think. So, but thanks for the question, and I will definitely keep this question in mind for when we do that.
I can tell you that Brian is aware of these issues and he has fixes planned for them, but I don't know exactly what the solution is to every single individual issue that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
good to
don't
know.
Yeah, there's stuff, but it has to take time, and it's coming.
All right, we have a tip and trick of the week for you. This is brought into you by Vince. Vince, what is it?
Okay. Well, my tip I have for you is once you've leveled up your weapon and your skill lines, of course you'll have more skill lines, and you'll be getting more experience. So you're wondering, well, what am I going to do? Everything's already at 50. What I particularly do is I set up my secondary weapon toolbar, and I set that up with the different skill lines on that. And of course, it also levels the weapon. And before I turn in a quest, I'll swap my weapons out, go turn in the quest, and that will actually grant some XP. Obviously, not all of the XP you got during the quest because you'll be on your primary toolbar, but you will then earn some advancement in those secondary lines, even if you didn't actually use them during the quest. So it's just a nice little tip.
Cheater.
And I also wanted to add, just to remind everyone, that your weapons need to be recharged. Don't forget to check on them every now and then. Charge them up with your soul gems, because I know there are some people out there who aren't aware of this process or frequently forget to charge their weapons up. So those are my 2 tips for the week.
You just go right into your character menu and right-click on the weapon, and it has a little thing right there that says charge. Charge it, pick the gem you want, and there you go. You're a cheater, Vince. I'm just saying. That's cheating. Bad. I'm just kidding. It's not. Unless Cinemax says, no, that is cheating, and we're fixing it, it's okay to do.
Swap and then turn in experience
Yeah.
for getting it. No, not at all. That's
legit.
I'm just giving Vince a bad time, guys.
I do that myself, so I hope it's not against our code of conduct.
No, it's actually a very good tip. Thanks, Vince, for that. We're not going to be doing gameplay this week, guys. We are running very, very long on the show. We apologize. We will get back into our gameplay next week's episode, so stay tuned for that. The last thing we have is, like we said we were going to do every week, is we want to do a guild spotlight. And we have a guild submission this week to do for you guys. Came into us from Mostly Harmless. Mostly Harmless is an active multi-gaming community founded on the belief that friendship, fun, and skilled gameplay would be the cornerstone upon which a competitive and long-lasting guild could be built. They are always looking to add more dedicated and social players to their community. For more information, visit their website at www.mhguild.com. That's all one word, mhguild.com. We'd like to thank Brotherhood of Redemption, you're welcome, and Nick Conkle for putting this together, and we look forward to more exciting PvP battles with our allies in the Lion's Watch. I don't know why he said thank you to Nick, but he did.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Great job.
I want to thank Malarkey for submitting this week's Guild Spotlight. Remember, if you want to send in a little blurb about your guild and you want it on the Guild Spotlight, email us. Our email is elderscrollingonline@gmail.com. And that's for questions, too. You guys have questions, comments about the show. If you hear that we have a dev coming on the show in an upcoming episode, feel free to send us an email with that question as well. And that's elderscrollingonline@gmail.com. Okay? All one word. Long email, amazing results. You guys don't know that commercial? And that is it for tonight's episode. Episode 2 is in the wraps. Again, I want to thank Nick and Eric very, very much for being here. I can't wait to join you guys back on the show again in the future. Kicking and screaming all the way.
No, it was fun. It was good to talk to you guys.
Our pleasure, for sure.
Yeah, we had a blast with you guys. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
a
you for
lot.
taking the time out of your Sunday.
All right, guys, how to reach us again. elderscrollingonline@gmail.com is our email. This show's Twitter is at ESOingPodcast. I am at The Widget, WIGIT. You can find Steve at Ravalox, RAVALOX. Fred can be found at Big Voice Man. I'm just kidding. It's at Baranon ESO, BARANON ESO. Vince can be found at VN Robbins, not Baskin Robbins, VN Robbins, at VN ROBINS. Our guild site for the Brotherhood of Redemption is eso.boarguild.com. Just let you guys know about that. And I just want to say, everybody, keep on beating up everything in Elder Scrolls, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot, and until next time, stay calm. The Way Shrine is just over the next hill.
Hey, everybody, take care of yourselves. Peace and safe journeys, huh?
Take care, everyone. Have a great time in Tamriel.